Narito ang makabuluhan at siksik na talakayan. Ang programang may puso at kapupulutan ng aral ukol sa seguridad at kaligtasan. Umaksyon, maging alerto. Anghel de Guardia.
Blaze Records. Easy.
Isang masaya, mapayapa at ligtas na araw Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao.
Huwag ka na malungkot, andito na ako. Pupunasan ko ang luha sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo.
Binabati natin ang lahat ng mga Pinoy all over the world. Nasa Amerika, nasa Europa,
Ngumiti ka lang
UAE, Qatar,
lahat ng iyong
at
hirap at
Russia.
masakit ay merong sagot.
Ating
Sa
kakwatihan,
madilim mong mundo
sundaluhan,
na nababalot.
kapulisan,
Bubuksan ko yan at
kaakibat sa public
bibigyan ko ng
safety,
liwanag.
peace and
Magtiwala
order,
ka
mga
lang
empleyado
at
ng
huwag kang
pamahalaan,
mapagyabang.
mga ordinaryong
Andito
manggagawa,
ako,
may
handa
kapansanan
kitang
ka man o
ipaglaban.
wala,
Kahit anong
ang
mangyari,
ating mga
di kita
kabataan
iiwan.
o ang ating
Huwag ka
mga
na
tinatawag
andito
na
na ako.
millennial.
Pupunasan
Mula po
ko
sa
ang
amin
luha
dito
sa
sa
mga
programa
mata mo.
Anghel
Di
de
ka na
Guardia,
magdurusa pagkat
programa
ako magsisilbi
para sa
sa'yo.
Guardiang Pilipino,
Anghel
karapatan
de
ng mga
Guardia.
manggagawang
Huwag
tagaligtas
ka na malungkot,
at lahat ng
andito na
manggagawang
ako.
Pilipino ukol
Pupunasan
sa
ko ang luha sa
kaligtasan at
mga mata mo.
kaadaan.
Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo.
The
Anghel de la
national
Guardia.
security community,
Hindi
whole of
ako si
government and whole of
Superman.
society
Ako'y
working
normal na
together
tao
Right.
lang. Handa makinig
para
at
ayusin
pwede
yung
mong sandalan.
intergenerational
Kaibigan
problem na yan.
kita,
Si
pero
Chairman
sa
mismo
kabilang
nagpunta
banda,
doon
mahal
to
kita.
see
Pero mahal
ginagawa
mo
ng
siya.
mga tropa
Di
ng
ako naghahangad
mandato
na
na
mahalin mo
mag-check
rin
ng mga
ako.
drivers,
Pero sana mapansin
lalong-lalo
mo
na yung
ang
mga babiyahe
pagtingin
na
ko
malayo.
sa'yo. Kahit ang turing mo sa
Ako
akin
po ang
ay
inyong
isang
lingkod,
Anghel de la
Mike
Guardia.
Guardia,
Ayos lang,
Datuin,
basta alam kong
nagbabalita,
masaya ka.
naghahayagat at
Huwag ka na
lilingkod para sa
malungkot,
kaligtasan
andito
at
na
kapayapaan
ako.
ng
Pupunasan
bawat
ko ang luha sa
mamamayan.
mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo. Anghel de la Guardia. Huwag ka na malungkot, andito na ako. Pupunasan ko ang luha sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo. Anghel de la Guardia. Huwag ka na malungkot, andito na ako. Pupunasan ko ang luha sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo. Anghel de la Guardia. Huwag ka na malungkot, andito na ako. Pupunasan ko ang luha sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo. Anghel de la Guardia.
Seguridad at kaligtasan ay responsibilidad ng bawat mamamayan. Mapasaan ka man, lakasan ang loob at magtiwala dahil lahat tayo ay may Anghel de la Guardia.
Hi, this is retired General Emiliano D. Templo. You are listening to the program of Mike Datuin, otherwise known as Anghel de la Guardia.
Ito po si Martin Aguda. Kayo po ay nakikinig sa Anghel de la Guardia ni Mike Datuin.
Kayo po ay nakikinig sa Anghel de la Guardia sa DWDD.
Kayo po ay nakikinig sa palatuntunan ni Mike de la Guardia Datuin sa DWDD Armed Forces Radio.
Ako po si Bong Lembriha, ang head ng EDSA Special Traffic and Transport Zone ng MMDA. Kayo po ay nakikinig sa Anghel de la Guardia ni Mike Datuin. Samahan niyo po kami.
Hello, magandang araw po. Ako po si Congressman Mike Aglipay ng Diwa Party List. Ako po ay nag-imbita sa inyo na manood ng Anghel la Guardia sa DWDD tuwing Sabado mula alas 3 hanggang 5 ng hapon. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, magandang gabi. Good evening to everyone and good evening to all listeners out there. You'll be following me in English because our discussion for tonight will be in partnership with one of our international friends. And as you can see, the title of our program tonight is on Psalm 101, achieving our potential, and it's very imperative that we talk about most, if not all of those things with our partner in English So please follow us. Sabayan nyo kami and ask your questions, give your comments and suggestions with all of your the things that are running in your mind. So with all, isang masaya, mapayapa at ligtas na araw sa lahat ng ating mga taga-subaybay ng programa Anghel de la Guardia, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Here at La Guardia News Online FB page at DWDD 1134 kilohertz Armed Forces Radio and Katropa DWDD CRS VRTV. Our program is brought to us by La Guardia News, Tanod na Malayang Pilipino. We are greeting everyone. Would like to greet all Filipinos all over the world mula sa Amerika, Europa, Middle East, and all of Asia. Binabati rin natin ang lahat ng ating, I would like to also greet all of our security guards, armed forces, police officers, all officers in public safety, peace and order, and employees of the government and private companies. All ordinary workers, mga may kapansanan man o wala, or PWDs, and all, our women, our ladies, at ang mga kids, and all of their families that are not with them in their place of work. Lalo ang lahat ng mga may kamag-anak na naiwan malayo sa kani-kanilang pinagtatrabahuan. Higit sa lahat ay ang ating sambayanang Pilipino, wherever you are, here in the Philippines and all over the world. Mula po sa amin, from all of us here in Anghel de la Guardia, ang programang para sa Gwardyang Pilipino, karapatan ng mga manggagawang tagaligtas at lahat ng manggagawang Pilipino ukol sa kaligtasan at kahandaan. Ako po ang inyong lingkod. This is Mike Datuin, nagbabalita, naghahayag at naglilingkod para sa kaligtasan, for our safety and peace of mind sa lahat, sa bawat ng bawat mamamayan. Inaayahan po natin. Would like to invite everyone to please follow, subscribe, join our program, place your comments and suggestions, your reactions and opinions here at our comment space at Facebook page La Guardia News Online. And or follow us on our replay every Saturdays from 3 to 5 p.m. at Katropa DWDCRS VRTV. Huwag niyo pong kalimutan, please don't forget to share, like and share all of our live broadcasts. We are now broadcasting live at La Guardia News Online FB page and at Michael Datuin YouTube. If you've missed this program, just follow us. So, our program tonight is all about it's all about leadership, professionalism, service, attitude, and management. So, with us, joining us tonight is none other than my good friend, my brother-in-law, Christopher Ward Jr. from New Jersey, USA, our co-host. Brother, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for having me. And how do I go after that type of intro? I don't even know if I could even go after that. Well, my name is Chris Ward Jr. Thank you for having me on the show. I am an international speaker, storyteller, lifestyle entrepreneur, but most importantly, leadership developer. And I'm excited to talk about all the topics that include professionalism, service, attitude, leadership, and management. So thank you so much for having me here. And let's get it going.
I have to give you your first assignment, though. Lead us into prayer.
We'll love to. Heavenly Father, we just thank you. We thank you for the opportunity to be up this morning or this evening. And we pray that today, that whatever is necessary for wisdom that you want us to have, that you would have us keep it in our mind and embed it on our hearts. We pray that whoever's listening to this right now, they would be moved and touched to see their own leadership, and that you would make a way and create a way for those who may feel hopeless now. And so, Lord, we ask you to guide our conversation, that you would be honored by it. And we give that to you in the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Hello, everyone. Would like to share with you Psalm 101, Achieving Your Leadership Potential in Today's Society. We're going to talk about professionalism, service, attitude, leadership, and management, all being guided by the wisdom of God and our knowledge from our experience, from our day to day activities. I would like to share our motto for this program, which is this reading from Psalm 101 to 3. I walk, I will walk with integrity of heart within my house. I will not set before my eyes anything that is worthless. I hate the work of those who fall away. It shall not cling to me. So, being guided by these readings and these informations and format of our program, would like to invite everyone to join us as me and Chris talk about every Friday, talk about um, professionalism, service, attitude, leadership, and management. With having all of these in mind, we start our meeting. This it's some sort of like a meeting, right, Chris? It's like a forum, you know. It's an informal meeting, talking about our insights, of course, not just from ourselves, but also most of the things that we've learned in books, in our experience, right? And it's so nice to talk about it. What do you think, Chris?
Yes, it's a conversation. And I think that's the best way to learn when you listen in on a conversation. You know, it could be your parents, it could be friends, and you usually pick up some really cool tips and cool things that you can apply to your own life. So I'm looking forward to this conversation, and hopefully we can hear from the audience as well, as they tune in.
Soon, as we progress in our program, we'll be inviting some of the leaders of my country and probably some of our friends in your country. We can invite them, some pastors, some of our leader friends. I'll be inviting some from our country that are leaders in their societies, but using the Psalm 101, having religion, not actually religion, but spirituality as part of their inspiration in mentoring, in doing what they do. I have in line with us, we have Bong Nebriha. You know him,
I've had the
right?
pleasure. Yeah. Yes.
You had the pleasure of working with him. And remember when you came here and we did that forum. I think that was when you were able to work with Bong, right?
Amazing just to hear him speak and his dedication to leadership and investing in yourself and loving the community. That was the thing that I heard. The theme is how much you love your community. You should, show up with your leadership. And so, yeah, it was phenomenal to share that stage with him.
And then we'll have Steve Cutler, our usual friends, and we have who else? We have some pastors that we can invite. Um, some of our leaders in the industry here that are it's a full lineup from my end. I'm sure you'll also have your own lineup from your end, and we'll get insight. By the way, to all of the listeners, this is broadcasting live simultaneous in the United States, in New Jersey, and here in the Philippines. So all of the people here in the Philippines that are listening, if this sounds new to you because we're not talking about things in Tagalog, uh, don't be hard pressed. Just if you have a question, just put it out there, comment it there, and sometimes I'll be talking in Tagalog. Chris wants that.
Of
Chris wants
course.
to use some Tagalog language,
Yes, bring it
and
on. Bring it on.
so Chris's wife is a Filipina, um, so he wants to also learn Tagalog for sure. And with that, we'll be gearing on, Chris, gearing on our discussion, and And for our discussion, we'll be starting from the first letter of Psalm 101. I think it will be gearing towards professionalism, right?
I believe so. I believe if you look at it,
What?
I will walk with integrity. I think that is like the overall swimming in professionalism, integrity, right? That's the most important part.
So probably some of our audience are asking, what is this? Is this a religious program? Is this a Christian program, or is this some sort of Bible thingy? It's a mixture of everything. Actually, it's reality. It's the world of people that looks at life with belief that there's a power greater than ourselves that
For
are
sure.
going to lead us, or that is going to lead us in the right path. It doesn't have to be Catholic or whatever. It's a mixture of everything. It's your spirituality. It's what you believe in. Uh, um, that that is moral and that is upright. Hence, why we were going to talk about professionalism. Um, the Bible. I mean, the reading itself. So if it feels awkward to some, don't be. Don't feel awkward. It's just a discussion, just like what Chris said. It's just a conversation between
Conversation.
two gentlemen, trying to talk about things on these principles. Chris, if I'm going to ask you, what's on top of your head, what's professionalism to you?
Professionalism is showing up with the integrity. Look how easy that is, right? Showing up with the integrity to do the job well, and not only do the job well, but also staying true to the mission or the calling that you are embracing as a person. And simply what that means is that everyone has a purpose, and so you bring your purpose with you to your job or your environment, and that
Right,
creates the area for professionalism.
right. In our environment here in the Philippines, well, at least from my perspective, um, it's very important that you act in such a way. Because for me, I feel that for everything to properly be dealt with, on the level of basic understanding, mutual understanding, is through with what you just said. Exactly what it is. Professionalism, bringing your integrity with it. If your integrity, we just had the new chief of the Philippine National Police. There was this because the previous one had already stepped down,
Mm,
just last week, and
wow.
he said that actual thing about integrity. You do not have the right to lead if you are not with integrity. I mean, in so many words. I don't remember exactly, but it was in those parameters that he said it. And probably it's best that we now discuss some points coming from some reading that I had,
Okay.
and would like to share that with you together with some traits of what they have. But before we do that, let's try to remind everyone of the program that they're watching. We'll just have a short break so that we can so everyone will can prepare for the discussion point, because this will be a good ride. This will be tuloy-tuloy po ito. So this is through and through as we discuss it. So atin pong pag-usapan na yan makalipas ng ilang saglit. We're going to be back just after this few reminders.
Narito ang makabuluhan at siksik na talakayan. Ang programang may puso at kapupulutan ng aral. Ukol sa seguridad at kaligtasan. Umaksyon, maging alerto. Anghel de Guardia.
Blaze Records. Easy.
Isang masaya, mapayapa at ligtas na araw Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao.
Huwag ka na malungkot, andito na ako. Pupunasan ko ang luha sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo.
Binabati natin ang lahat ng mga Pinoy all over the world mula sa Amerika, sa Europa,
ngumiti ka lang
UAE, Qatar,
lahat ng iyong
at
hirap
saka
at masakit ay merong sagot.
ating
Sa
kagwardiyan,
madilim mong mundo
tundaluan,
na nababalo,
kapulisan,
bubuksan ko yan at
kaakibat sa public
bibigyan ko ng
safety,
liwanag.
peace and
Magtiwala
order,
ka
mga
lang
empleyado
at
ng
huwag kang
pamahalaan,
mapagyabang.
mga ordinaryong
Andito
manggagawa,
ako,
may
handa
kapansanan
kitang
ka man o
ipaglaban.
wala,
Kahit anong
ang
mangyari,
ating
di
mga
kita
kabataan
iiwan.
o ang ating mga tinatawag na millennial. Mula po sa amin dito sa programa Anghel de la Guardia, programang para sa Guardiang Pilipino, karapatan ng mga manggagawang tagaligtas at lahat ng manggagawang Pilipino ukol sa kaligtasan at kahandaan.
Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa iyong
the
Anghel de la
national
Guardia.
security community,
Hindi
whole of
ako si
government and whole of
Superman.
society
Ako'y
working
normal na
together
tao
Right.
lang. Handa makinig
para
at
ayusin
maging
yung
sandalan.
intergenerational
Kaibigan
problem na yan.
kita,
Si
pero
Chairman
sa
mismo
kabilang
nagtatanong
banda,
to see
pero mahal
ginagawa
mo
ng
rin
mga
siya.
tropa
Di
natin
ako naghahangad
mandato
na
na
mahalin mo
mag-check
rin
ng mga
ako.
drivers,
Pero sana mapansin
lalong-lalo
mo
na yung
ang
mga babiyahe na
pagsingin ko
malayo.
sa'yo. Kahit ang turing mo sa
Ako
akin
po ang
ay
inyong
isang
lingkod,
Anghel de la
Mike
Guardia.
Guardia,
Ayos lang,
Datuin,
basta alam kong
nagbabalita,
masaya ka.
naghahayag at
Huwag ka
naglilingkod
na
para sa
malungkot,
kaligtasan
andito
at
na ako.
kapayapaan ng
Pupunasan
bawat
ko ang luha
mamamayan.
sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa iyong Anghel de la Guardia. Huwag ka na malungkot, andito na ako. Pupunasan ko ang luha sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa iyong Anghel de la Guardia. Huwag ka na malungkot, andito na ako. Pupunasan ko ang luha sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa iyong Anghel de la Guardia. Huwag ka na malungkot, andito na ako. Pupunasan ko ang luha sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa iyong Anghel de la Guardia.
Seguridad at kaligtasan ay responsibilidad ng bawat mamamayan. Mapasaan ka man, lakasan ang loob at magtiwala dahil lahat tayo ay may Anghel de la Guardia. Okay, and we're back. Just a short reminder of what we have and what program everybody is in. I'll just invite everyone in Tagalog, all right, Chris?
Sounds good.
Binabati natin ang lahat to please watch us and follow us. To all of our listeners, kung alangan po kayo, i-type nyo lang po. Okay lang po yan. You type in Tagalog, you type in English, that's fine. Your comment, your suggestion, your opinion, and what you think. What's your take in our discussion? Just bring it there and join us in our program tonight. Okay, buddy. Meeting the standards that matter. I think this is the meat of our program, talking about professionalism. That is, I think, the standard that really matter, and for us to be able to achieve that, it's a powerful thing. Professionalism is a powerful quality. It allows you to fulfill your role to the best of your ability. Just like what you said a while ago, what you thought of professionalism, it which exemplifies our whole Psalm 101 discussion tonight. It helps us to impress and inspire others, and it gives us a deep sense of satisfaction and self-worth. What's more is that professionalism is something that everyone can aspire to from day one of their career or in life. What do you think, buddy?
I agree. I think you're hitting the nail on the head, right? It doesn't start in the workplace. It starts at home, right? It starts with what's happening in your bedroom, as in you're sitting there thinking about the person you want to become and the identity that you want to embrace. And with every focus on your identity, there is these qualities and values that could actually be embraced. And when you create that, you start to create more of like a statement of truth of who you are.
True,
Right.
true.
And you bring that to the workplace.
Before I move on, before I forget, I would like to greet our uncle, my uncle, Uncle Tito's Datuin. A happy birthday It's one of the things he required me to do.
Happy birthday, Uncle Tito's.
Said, "Don't forget to greet me." Sure, and it will be my honor to greet one of my favorite uncles in the Datuin side. He always tells me that I'm one of his favorite nephew.
You have to hold on to that. Yeah, you got to hold on to that one. Yeah, for sure. That's a title you have to keep.
Happy birthday, Uncle Tito's.
Happy
May you
birthday.
have many, many more birthdays to come. And what is professionalism? I have here, Chris, some few insights from a previous reading and research that I just did. It says here, as the saying goes, professionalism is not the job you do, it's how you do the job. I
Mm.
think it makes sense, right? What do you think?
I think you're in the right ballpark. If you think about it, we just spoke about your Uncle Tito's, and that's who I would say exemplifies professionalism. Right? He
That's why I
exemplifies
wanted to greet him before I start.
he exemplifies professionalism. It's how he approaches his day to day. See, most
Right.
people think it's the title you have. It's not based on the title. It's based on your day to day. What type of person do you want to show up as today? Because when you start to talk about your professionalism, really it's based on how people view you. If they
Right.
see how you move and maneuver and treat people and do the job, that can actually build your brand to a point where people are speaking about you behind
Right.
closed doors and you don't need to be there in a positive way.
Speaking of brand, it says here, professionalism involves consistently achieving high standards, both visibly and behind the scenes, whatever your role or profession. Some sectors, workplaces, or roles have particular rules of professionalism. These may be explicit, such as an agreed dress code or a policy for using social media. Boom! I think that hits the button. Uh,
For sure.
Sometimes, it's just so irritating when people just keep on clicking without thinking. You know that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Mindlessly, right? You're not thinking, you're not being intentional. That's also professionalism, right?
See?
Intentionality.
True. Other rules and expectations may not be written down, but they can be just as important, such as what is regarded as professional behavior at meetings, or even how people personalize their desks. People don't even know that how you live I mean your table, if it's
Mhm.
so messy, so dirty, that's what they say. Um that's what's in your mind, and that becomes their attitude. It pays to be observant,
For sure.
and to ask for clarification if necessary. You don't have to, too stubborn and too high and mighty, that you don't stop and ask, to clarify, because you're afraid that people might say you're a little slow.
Why do you tell me more about that? Why do you think people would be afraid for that type of feedback?
Well, because they wanted to fit in. Um, I think it says here, fitting in is a big part of professionalism,
Mm.
as it's a way to show respect, attention to detail, and a commitment to upholding agreed practices and values. So probably in the whole concept of just like what you were asking, it comes with being true to yourself. It says here, however, being true to yourself is just as important. True professionals don't follow rules mindlessly, and they know when and how to challenge norms. They're also flexible, and they find their own ways to do things while still maintaining high standards. And this note gave me 8 characteristics of professionalism. Maybe we can expound, because I think that question falls on one of these characteristics.
Sounds good.
Um, Okay. I'll give on them, and we can talk about these characteristics. What are the attributes that will mark you out as a professional? Let's look at 8 characteristics.
Okay.
So it says here, the first is characteristic is competence. It says here, as a professional, you get the job done
Mm.
and done well. Your
Hmm.
abilities match the requirements of your role, and you often produce results that exceed expectations.
Mm.
But you never plow on simply for the sake of appearances. Instead, your professionalism allows you to manage your own and others' expectation and to ask for support when necessary. Your
Wow.
take, buddy.
That's all about wisdom, right? If you think about what you just shared, there are so many people who do the job because they want to please their supervisor, or they want to please the people who the expectations and meet the expectations of others. And really, professionalism is knowing your line so that you don't burn out. You don't burn out to the point where you're useless, right? And so, being able to understand your line and meeting their line at the same time, and then having a conversation, right? Like you said, that feedback is so important, because the feedback is not just for you, it's for those that are also a part of the project and the mission. And if you can have that conversation, it allows for a recalibration of things that
Right.
are going on.
So it kind of works both ways. So one is the attitude, and the other one is the technical competence. It says here, as a professional, you get the job done and done well. Your
For sure.
abilities match the requirements of your role, and you often produce results that exceed expectation. Of course, you cannot do this without, knowing, uh, as you said, wisdom, the job, and you must be competent enough so that you can um, um, have the how do you say this, the confidence, and not trying to do things by, as you said, pleasing your boss and taking credits from that because I have points. I'm good with a big guy,
For
and
sure.
that enough as you think is your entitlement, as if you're entitled to do to slouch around, to just hang around, and not do anything. um I think i think for me, that's my take, buddy.
I love it. I love what you're sharing. It's all about the legacy you want to leave too, right? If you don't know what you believe in and what you stand for, you can't help your supervisor or your leader lead you better, right?
Right.
So that's something to think about as well.
I think that now falls in the second characteristic, or probably this is one of them leading to that. It says here in the second characteristic, knowledge. I
Mm.
think that's where professionalism involves developing detailed, up to date knowledge at every stage of your career. You can strive to master your role and keep adding to what you know. It's also important to put your knowledge into action. Being professional means feeling confident to show what you know, not for self promotion, but to help yourself and others to succeed. I think my description a while ago, I think, falls on this one.
For sure. Definitely. You should talk a little bit more about that and how it kind of flows into what you just shared right there.
Yeah, it just fits right. It fits like a glove on this one. Being basically, like for my profession in the private security, we really have to undergo training or be a certified individual,
Hmm.
depending on what field you want to go into, because there's really no college degree
Hmm.
that our profession has. So it's kind of hard to place a benchmark because it's individualized. If you want to be in cybersecurity, you have to study cybersecurity and cyber safety. If you want to be on the physical security side, you have to study physical security. But there's none as of now Um, uh, oh no, just recently we had the Bachelor of Science in Industrial Security Management. Probably that's now the holistic point of that in terms of a college degree. But for most of us, we need to be specialized. We needed to train, recertify ourselves. And I think being professional has a lot of bearing on that because if you know your job, you're not you don't bully. You know.
Definitely. It's not only knowing your job, but knowing the people that you serve,
Yeah.
right? Because you can be the most knowledgeable person in the world, but if you are not respectful and approachable
Yeah.
and a servant leader, all that knowledge is wasted, right? All that onboarding into that specific specialization that you have is wasted. So it's very important to not only practice these transferable skills that you're speaking of right now, right? But it's also important to know your own education, right? Because
Right.
our parents and our grandparents have taught us many things about relationships and people. And so you bring that into the workplace, hopefully for good, into the
Yeah.
workplace, and you bring it together with those professional skills that you're training yourself in and being onboarded in, and that would allow you to show up, which is what
Right.
professionalism is all about.
So we're now on the second. Let me just give a heads up to everyone of what are the 8 characteristics, so that everybody is on the same channel or same understanding of what we need to come out. The 8 characteristics of professionalism talks about competence, number one; number two, knowledge; number three, conscientiousness. That's number three. Number four is integrity. And then number five is respect. Number six is emotional intelligence. Number seven is appropriateness. And number eight is confidence. And each of these has a description. And probably from each description, we can expound on the take. I would like to invite some of our listeners and our viewers right now what their take is of each characteristics that we are talking about. Chris and I are talking about and expounding on, because we're giving our different takes on the characteristics and how we understand them and how it applies to our conditions, our environment. So please place your suggestion, place your comments. Don't be afraid. We won't bite.
We don't bite at all. Which is very good.
Well, I can read them in Tagalog and share it, explain it to Chris in. I'll translate it for you. If you feel like you're reserved because you need to type it in English for all the Filipinos out there, don't be afraid. Just type it away and we'll translate it and we'll talk about it the way you wish for us to talk about. So moving along, brother. We're now on number three.
Okay.
So I'll read it and then let's talk about our thoughts on this. Conscientiousness. I think I have to share this with you. Probably you could be the one reading this because I'm having a hard time pronouncing some of them.
I know you sound pretty good, man. You doing really. I'm like, I don't know if I could even say conscientious.
Oh, this is some of these are pretty hard. Okay, you got the screen.
Yes, I got it. So I'll take this one.
Okay, conscient.
Conscientiousness. Conscientiousness. Professionalism involves being reliable, setting your own high standards, and showing that you care about every aspect of your job. It's about being industrious and organized and holding yourself accountable for your thoughts, words, and actions. But don't confuse conscientiousness with working longer hours than everyone else or obsessing about details. True professionals plan and prioritize their work to keep it under control, and they don't let perfectionism hold them back. Woo. I've been there. Long hours just to have long hours. I've been there. Woo.
What are you thinking on, buddy? Go ahead.
And thinking about my past. I mean, thinking about the immaturity that I had when it came to my career when I first started out in my early teens and 20s. It was all about working those long hours to prove myself. And one of the aspects of life that I wish I learned earlier, that everyone who's listening can learn now, is to align your lifestyle with your career, the lifestyle that you desire. And simply what that means is this. All that means is if I want to spend more time with my family, my kids, or
Right.
my girlfriend, my wife, my husband, whatever it may be, I want to pick a job that allows me to be the best me so that when I come home, I have a lot left for them. Yeah, you don't want to come home and be on empty. And then that
Yeah.
brings more strain into your relationship, and then it carries over into your professionalism. So that's one of the things I was thinking of. Like, man, if I knew what I knew now, I would have said no to so many projects so that I could save
I
save
I
myself.
I agree with you 110% because in my past I stay at work, I sleep where I worked at. I gave everything that I have, especially when it required me to, because the thing that was hanging on my head was you have to be there 24/7. The thing that was hanging on my head was service first, obey first, complain later.
Mm,
My job is somewhat paramilitary. We are part of like a law enforcement, but not really. We're on armed forces, but not really. We're a private practice security and safety group. Therefore, our principles are stand the same with service to people
mhm,
before self. So if we are needed in one area, we give it 110%. It's not an 8 hour, it's not an 8 hour, 12 hour thing. I mean, it's not like we're being paid 12 hours. It's
eh,
not like we're being paid more than, like the heaven and the stars. We're getting paid basic,
basic
barely
stuff.
minimum. Just
Mhm.
just gearing a little higher than minimum because I was part of a management group. So
Okay.
I felt responsible for it, and being
Mm,
responsible for it placed me in a you need to give more
mm,
than the others. You have to make sure that it says here, um, don't let perfectionism hold them back. you know um I was very tedious in most of the things that I did. Well, I'm not mostly tedious. I was very tedious, and I was ensuring that everything falls down to the letter.
for sure.
Because it's a standard. It's something. It's an expectation that you don't want to be broken, and it's raising a standard of excellence. And it's kind of hurts whenever your
Yeah.
officer, your leader, kind of tells you that you're falling behind. I'm always very disappointed because I'm I'm a very defensive person when it comes to criticism coming
Mm,
from my superior. I always make sure that I am not criticized. I
mhm.
always work above the standard so
Okay.
that it would not be seen as a substandard work. Because once I'm criticized, just once, I make sure that it never happens again. Those are
That's interesting. That's very interesting, honestly, because I think a lot of people would relate to you that hey, I don't want to be criticized by any what
yeah, yeah,
criticism. I'm
you
going.
know,
Are you crazy? I'm going to work my butt off. So, but I think at the same time, right? We give up what we call opportunity cost, and simply what that means is we do one thing, it's costing us something else, right? By doing
right.
that, yeah, that's a
And
powerful story.
yeah, and it did actually, just like what you said. I'm glad that I knew. If I only knew than what I know now.
Hmm.
It makes you then say, "What the all of this
Oh, that was every day. That was after every work day. I was getting in my car like, what in the world?
did I just do?" And then when you get home, you get to miss the good stuff. The things that they talk about in the dinner table.
For
I
sure.
was with this, I was with that, I was, your kid just had this, just did that, and I was like, where was I? You were at work, pleasing
Yeah.
your boss.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Making
guy, whoever
sure
that guy is.
whoever that guy is. But it's not to say that I'm not trying to sour grape here or anything. It's a learned experience.
For sure.
As it says here, consensuousness. But don't confuse consensuousness with working longer hours than everyone else or obsessing about details. Because at the end of the day, I was able to experience them. I can look back and say when I'm training someone is dude, you're like just barely doing it. You're not doing
But
it. You start
exactly.
having a marker. You start having a benchmark.
And that's professionalism, right? Letting the next generation come in and know the trigger points, right? Hey, be careful of this, or I see what's happening. I was in your shoes once. You may want to look at it, approach it this way. And I think that's
Right.
also professionalism, building up the next generation to come.
It's not. It's not. And then whenever we're saying that, it's not because oh, so this is your standard. It's not that. It is what is moral. It is what is upright, and it is what is just.
Hmm.
Creating a certain standard of excellence does not mean that it's only my standard of excellence, especially when what you're sharing is something that is a legacy base. It's a standard of living, a standard of um of understanding that you're ahead of others.
That's huge. That's huge,
You,
right?
you
Build.
know,
Hmm. That's
and it's
powerful stuff.
actually Yeah, and it's actually the content, I think, of one of the best part of the characteristics that we have here, professionalism, and that is going to integrity. This is a little bit bigger than all of those, but I think this is a compendium of it. As you were saying in the first part, you already thrown in integrity, from the understanding of what was our first topic, no competence.
Competence.
uh you already shared there about integrity, right?
Hmm.
So I'll read through this, and let's break down this one, because I'm
Okay.
not even sure if we can finish breaking down this one on time. i kind of I kind of lost count, because if it's 8, we cannot talk about it for 10 minutes because it's 80 minutes.
Yeah, we'll try to talk about this one for 2 minutes, just two quick minutes.
But this is too sweet and too long. And just by describing it, it takes 2 minutes already. Okay, let me read through this. Okay, integrity, number 4. Number 4 is integrity. Integrity is what keeps professional people true to their word. It also stops them compromising their values, even if that means taking a harder road. Probably when we finish this one, we'll stop at this one, and then we'll pick it up from the next episode, right?
I said, okay. All right, we can do
Yeah,
that.
we can linger on this because this is a good topic to end. Integrity. Um, okay. Integrity is bound up with being on. You know what? I'll share this with you. You read the other one.
Okay.
I'll read the first part and you read the next part. So we could. It's
Well,
kind of long because.
let's mix it up. Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right. Okay. Hold on. All right. I'm doing 8 things at the same time here. Okay, where was I? Integrity is bound up with being honest to yourself and to the people you meet. Your beliefs and behaviors are aligned, and everyone can see that you're genuine.
Very.
Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy.
Yes, yes, yes.
right? You know,
I'll
okay.
I'll read this part. I'll read this part.
I'll give this one to you, brother.
And if you're listening right now, you have a piece of paper and pen, or you have your phone, make sure you write down beliefs and aligned. It's very important to integrity. So let's get into it. Integrity is a characteristic that many of us value in ourselves, right? Pointing towards us. And it's one we look for consistently in our leaders. But what does it really mean to have integrity? The Random House Dictionary defines integrity as adherence to moral and ethical principles, soundness of moral character, and honesty, the state of being whole, entire, or undiminished, a sound, unimpaired, or perfect condition. Although the definition is sound, it can be a bit more complex to define integrity in our everyday lives. That's why we're here. We're going to help you define this and explain it. You can say that integrity is always doing the right thing, even when no one is looking. And even when the choice isn't easy, underline that word, everyone, when it's not easy. Or you might see integrity as staying true to yourself and your word, even when you're faced with the serious consequences for the choices that you're making. That's where your leadership comes in. Alternatively, look at the second and third of these definitions. These were likely meant for structures, such as integrity of a building, but we can just as easily apply this definition to ourselves. When we have integrity, we're whole in perfect condition, and we're not compromised by awkward inconsistencies. When we live our lives with integrity, it means that we're always honest and we let our actions speak for who we are and what we believe in. This is my favorite part, guys. I love that part. Integrity is a choice we make, and it's a choice we must keep making every moment of our lives. I think we can go from there. I think we can actually have a conversation just from there.
Okay, but
I'll read the last part.
I'm kind of thinking because that's a good part. Okay, um, probably okay. Let's pick it up next time on why integrity is important, so we can remember what we talked about.
For
Let's
sure.
let's dive on that particular thing that you read, and we have 5 minutes to talk about it or less, or 10 minutes or less to wrap up our program. Go for it, buddy.
All right. So this is one of my favorite parts of this amazing show. And when we just read the definition of integrity, we talked about a lifestyle of alignment with values and morals and code. It's very, very difficult to be a professional when you don't have intentionality when it comes to who you are as a person and the values that are important to you. Because really what you're doing is when you go into a workplace, you're bringing a certain level of expertise from your life experience. You may not know this, but you are special. You have purpose, and that purpose actually is the inner voice that speaks to your calling, right? Your calling is a lifetime mission. Your assignment has an expiration date. So regardless of what place that you might be in, or you might be working in, you're bringing a certain level of expertise. But the only way that you can give it intentionally is if you're aware of it. So that's why integrity is so important. Integrity speaks to you. You can't gain it and grab it from someone else. You have to look within, and then you have to break it down to say, what are the things that are most important to me? What do I believe in? Why do I believe in it? Because when you figure that out, that's how you view the world. You view the world through your belief system. And the more that you refine it, the more you can you can show integrity because you show up consistently with who you are.
Exactly.
How about you, Mike? Do you think what are your
Go
thoughts on
for
that?
it. Go for it, buddy. I'm listening. Yeah, I'm picking it up from what you're saying because I was absorbing it right. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of the most
You're right.
phenomenal pieces that I believe all of us are blessed with, right? We were all born with purpose, which means that you're not a mistake. So if you're listening to this right now, you are not a mistake. I love the Filipino community, especially when I went to the Philippines, because of how much they embrace the invitation of welcoming people into the country. And I was just blown away by that because it's such a special skill, a special trait that not every country has. So you should be very proud
Oh
and
yeah.
excited to be a Filipino and Filipina. You should be very proud and excited to be who you are. You don't need to change for anyone else, but you do need to go within. And then you need to write down these important traits and qualities that change the atmosphere, right? Example that I'll share real quickly is both of my sons. They're two different people, right? Two different people, but they impact their environments in two different ways. One doesn't speak that much, but he can
No
walk
picture.
in.
So next week we gotta share the picture.
Next week for sure. So Richie, my the oldest, he can walk into a room and not say anything, and people are gravitating towards him. He has that presence, right? And it's because of what he believes in. He believes that he doesn't have to say many words to change anybody. He just has to show up, and things will change. And that's how
Right.
he is. Now,
Right.
the little one, Jordan, he's just cuteness overload. And he knows he's cuteness overload. So when he comes in, he says the cutest things in the world, and it changes the environment. Guess what? When you get older, you still have that. You have that in your workplace, you have that in your relationships, and every time that you are aligned, you are actually showing integrity.
Right.
Every time you're aligned with who you are, that integrity will overflow. You don't have to think about it. It's second nature. And that's what I would say to anyone that's listening right now is work on you, who you are, what you believe in, and what your statement of truth is. And that's what I would say.
Wow. Powerful. Boom. It is what it is, brother. To all of the listeners out there and all of the people following our program, especially to shout out to Sidro Julian. Says here watching Sir Mike, Lulu Claveria, watching Sir Anton Balanday Jr., Anton Balanday. I think I just said their names twice. And we have so many people watching and reacting. We have Perpetual Masonic Lodge 426, Bahala na, RPSPU Cordillera Camp Dangwa, Bebs Lapao, Nick Gonzalez Villanueva, Sunshine Oliveros, the Datuin is watching and
Sunshine.
saying hi to everyone and everybody else. HR Alexandra, Bebs, yeah, Apao. That's 13 of them. I can't open most of them, but okay. Thank you guys, and thank you to all of those listening. And these
For
are all
sure.
powerful words that we barely scratched the surface of talking about professionalism. We're stopping at number 4, right? We're stopping at number 4 of 8.
So they have to come
So
back.
next week,
Yeah, they have to tune
brother,
in.
brother, we're just talking about the first letter. We're just at letter P, brother, and there's like 8 of them in the characteristics, and we're on number 4. We haven't even finished number 4, so we're not just coming back. We have to do this every week. I already have my. We already have here 3 programs at its best, at its best, just for letter P alone.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
And we have service, we have attitude, we have leadership and management. So probably for the next couple of weeks, we'll be talking about what is the meaning of Psalms.
Mm,
Why is it Psalms? Psalms in the Bible's Book of David, right?
mhm, mhm.
And from that standpoint, we're really standing firm on what is the making of a true leader.
For sure.
It's David. It's
The matters of the heart. Right.
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 So with this, please continue to join us as we talk about all of these, and we'll be talking about many more in our episodes of our journey towards understanding Psalm 101, achieving your leadership potential in today's society through professionalism, service, attitude, leadership, and management. You know, um, I would like to give a special shout out to you, Chris, and your family for lending your time and your spirit in this advocacy of mine here in the country. As you know, I have a series of radio programs, but I only talk about security and safety. And there's a valuable part of security and safety that needs the right emphasis, and that
Mm,
is your faith, what
mm,
you walk and how you walk your life. To be safe, to be secured, is you need to first be walking in that faith. Because how could you protect others if you're not even sure that there's a God of understanding that protects you?
mm,
And all of the things you do, all of the things you say, has meaning and touches people around you.
for sure.
And um, this particular program, when you said yes, when you agreed to do this with me, it only not makes me grounded. You know, it would keep me grounded, and so would the rest of the people that are listening.
Mm,
And probably from there, we could be able to have a good environment of safety and security, especially in this times of pandemic, where everybody is like going cuckoo in their own room,
yes, yes, definitely.
because everything is online. They can't step out, they can't go anywhere. Where the government, our government just declared a general community quarantine,
Mm,
effective May 15 onwards here.
mm,
So we're back to our general community quarantine, and it's a little heightened on the implementation of the ordinances.
okay.
So, because the numbers increased, and there are still things
Wow.
that needs to be managed here. So, it's a kind of good thing to be refreshed of the things that a different perspective.
For
Uh,
sure.
you
For
know,
sure.
uh, Thinking of the good stuff.
Positive, right? You have to stay
Positive.
positive and optimistic during times like this. And so I'm super thankful that for those who are listening and tuning in, we appreciate you so much. And as you share with others as well, we can do this together. It's a community. It's a community conversation. And so we need you just as much as you're listening to us. We need you to be here and share it with others so that they can get the information and we can start moving as one collective. And I think that's super important that we do that.
I already received a text, and it says here, "You look like that basketball player."
Kobe Bryant, yeah, I know. Right.
And the other one says that in Tagalog, baka naman pwede siya mag-Tagalog paminsan-minsan. So it says here that meant probably you might want to speak in Tagalog from time to time.
I have to work on it.
Well, listen. Well, now the test begins. My
Oh
challenge
my
to
goodness.
to my sister Mary Grace would be to teach Chris. You have to greet everyone in New Jersey. We have some friends there that has our frequent listeners in our program every Thursday. Just yesterday, Thursday here, we have audience from New Jersey.
Oh, hello everybody from New Jersey. I'm so excited that you're here. Continue to listen in and share. Share, 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 share so more people can listen and get into the conversation.
There is, and okay, so that will end our program. I'm starting to get a call. um, that will be ending our first salvo, and would like to thank everyone before I greet and thank everyone from listening and joining in. Before I give my extra, I would like to give Chris Ward his parting message, his reminders, his greetings, and his invitation to the next program. Go ahead,
Yeah.
brother.
Yes, first I want to thank my wife and my kids for allowing me to get up this morning without interruption and to be able to speak and connect with all of you. I want to thank the country of the Philippines. You are some of the most amazing, loving, welcoming people, and I'm so excited to be able to be here to serve you. Make sure that you tune in every Friday so that you can listen in on this conversation about Psalm. And I want you, if you want to connect with me outside of here, ask me any questions, please follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Chris Ward Jr. And please make it part of your weekly schedule to hear and listen to us and the conversation about Psalms every Friday, 8 p.m. Philippines time, as well as 8 a.m. New York City time. And looking forward to it next week.
All right, brother. I'll be moving in Tagalog mode because I need to greet some of our friends here in Tagalog. Greetings, our core of advisors, mentors, supporters, partners, retired Police Director General Edgar Aglipay, Marinette Yan Aglipay, Teresita Castro Yan, Ella Aglipay Delio and family, Congressman Michael Edgar Aglipay, Diwa Partelis, Ginger Rosales Aglipay, Undersecretary Emmeline Aglipay Villar of the Department of Justice, Secretary Mark Villar of the Department of Public Works and Highways, Brigadier General Emiliano Templo E-Power Security Agency, Police Brigadier General Debrandi Usana, retired, Ramon Bergado of the Philippine Association of Detective and Protective Agency Operators, Juanito June, and Ophel Lua of JSL Security Group, Helen Aquino of Unified Security, retired Colonel Rodrigo Bonifacio of PVA Utopia, Dr. June de la Cruz, the Mall Security Management Association of the Philippines, Valentin Hizon, also of the Philippine Association of Security and Safety Management, Chief Martin M1 Aguda, former Secretary of the Department of Interior and Local Government, Secretary Rafael Alunan. Oh, there you go. It's one of the one person that we need to invite too, talking about leadership and management and integrity. That's a strong person of integrity.
Let's do
Of
it.
course, to our partner organizations, ACSTOP, Association of Certified Security Trainers, Alliance of Security and Safety Practitioners, SRMS, Philippine Association of Certified Security Risk Management Specialists, Campus Security and Safety Management Alliance of the Philippines, Security Guards Alliance of the Philippines, Security Guards Association of the Philippines, Five Niners, Adlacag, Anghel de la Guardia Community Action Group, Valenzuela and Rizal PNP Press Corps 2021, Taytay Municipal Police Station Advisory Council, headed by Police Lieutenant Colonel Rodel Bano, Chairman Pastor Walter Godoy, and council members, Philippine Investigative Media Alliance, Sidakma Riders Group, Taytay Security Action Force, of course, to our friends in the PhilHealth, Philippine Health Office, Delio Aceron and Raymond Acoba, Chief of the Public Information Office of the NCR, Jeannie Desiderio, Police Security Protection Group, Director, Police Brigadier General Ferdinand Cifuentes, Philippine National Police, Police Security Protection Group Advisory Council, Chairman Dr. Reyes Romero, PSPG Advisory Council Dr. Reyes Romero, to our Provincial Director, Police Colonel Joseph Arguelles of Rizal, and Police Colonel Jaime Osit Santos of Nueva Ecija. We have to invite him as well.
Okay. Yeah.
To our technical staff of the Armed Forces Radio, headed by Sergeant Jeffrey Malimban, Philippine Navy, Major Lou Lara, our station manager, Brigadier General Manuel V. Secatin, the CRS commander, Civil Relations Service commander, and that's about it. I'd like to thank everyone from New Jersey, everyone from this side of the country, the Philippines, and listeners. To Chris, thank you very much, brother.
Thank you, Mike, for creating for creating something so special for us to connect and have a conversation on. I appreciate it.
It's an advocacy, really. worth making. It's one of those things that you wanted to do many years ago, but
Mm,
you're trying to start to sum up all the energy to do it because it's not something that is easy to do because it's sort of like exposing
mm-hmm,
your personality in it.
mm-hmm.
So probably this is us, Chris and I, sharing to the world who we
For
are,
sure.
and
For
we
sure.
hope that we can make a change. That's how change work through us. Bueno, tulad po ng lahat ng kwentuhan o usapan, tayo ay may umpisa at may katapusan. It always has a beginning and an end. Naway marami po tayong napulot na aral. I hope everybody learned a lot of things that are good examples and stories that would help each and every one of us in our everyday lives. Pag tama ang kalaman, if what we know is right, then safety and security is assured to all Filipinos and to all people ng bawat mamamayan. Ito po ang inyong lingkod. This is yours truly, Mike Datuin with Chris Ward, inviting everyone sa susunod na broadcast at our next broadcast, 8 p.m. till 9 p.m. here at LaGuardia News Online FB page at sa parehong himpilan ng DWDD 1134 kHz Armed Forces Radio AM band every Saturdays on replays 3 to 5 p.m. And social media accounts Mike LaGuardia Datuin, Anghel de la Guardia, and LaGuardia News. Again, to everyone, this is Mike LaGuardia Datuin nagsasabi at nagpapaalala, reminding everyone that security and safety is everybody's responsibility. Wherever you are, have courage and trust because all of us have our guardian angels with us. To ang Anghel de la Guardia. Good night and thanks everyone. See you in the next episode.
See ya. Take care. Good night.